What's up, Nerfers? A lot of you probably remember this video that I made 3.5 years ago, showing off the 300 feet per second 3D printed Nerf sniper, the Caliburn. In fact, I know quite a few players who that video was the introduction to the Nerf hobby that got them started. Back then, I tested Dart Zone bamboo darts, which had just come out, against quick darts made by a now defunct company, Jet Blaster. That goes to show how out of date this video is. While we still do use half-length darts, they're the staple of the Nerf hobby, both of those particular types are not really used anymore. That's not the only part of the video that's a little out of date though, because there have been quite a few new advancements since then. Firstly, instead of string-based rifling that I showed off in that video called a scar barrel, the hobby's moved on to bearing-based rifling called a B-car. A B-car has the same basic effect as a scar. It puts spin on the darts as they leave the barrel, increasing accuracy. The way that it does so, though, results in less friction and therefore less velocity drop. The metal bearings of a B-car are also far more durable than fishing line is. Secondly, one of the more popular hobby-grade blaster manufacturers, you may have heard of these guys before, their name is Worker. Well, they've recently developed heavier Nerf darts. These are indicated by their green tip instead of the regular orange one, and these have a lower initial muzzle velocity, but from all of my testing so far, they tend to travel further than regular darts. Finally, there are a lot more 300 feet per second Nerf blaster options these days than what we had back then, which was pretty much just the Caliburn. We've got options like the Worker Harrier, which is injection molded and therefore more durable than a 3D printed blaster. But in the world of hobby grade Nerf blasters that you can just order online, I don't think they come more premium than the brand new Saber Apex Prime. This is a mag-fed pump-action or side prime manual Springer, which is made entirely of metal, using a mix of aluminium for the body and stainless steel for the priming mac. It comes in either a bright blue or bright red color scheme, which is very important for Nerf because unlike other combat sports, the majority of Nerf games all around the world are held in public spaces like schools or parks. This is why we never paint our blasters black. If you search online, you can probably even find a Nerf group or two near you. With a platform as solid as the Saber Apex Prime combined with a B-car and heavier darts, I think it's time to remake the accuracy video from those years ago and update it to modern standards. I'll start out with a chrono test before moving on to an accuracy test, then I'll end off with a range test. The chrono test measures the velocity of the darts as they leave the muzzle, measured in feet per second. Most Nerf groups have a velocity limit on blasters in their rules. Measuring standard 1 gram darts first. 291. 298. 289. 291, 294, 295, 298, 296, 298, 295, 301, 293, 291, 294, 311, that's all 15. Standard 1 gram Worker bamboos shot a high of 311 feet per second, low of 289, average of 295, with a standard deviation of 5.3. These results make it perfect for the 300 feet per second velocity limit we have in my games, but if your Nerf group has a lower velocity limit, you may need to use a weaker spring or shorter barrel. Now for the 15% heavier green tip Worker bamboos. With a basic understanding of physics, these will definitely go slower, but we know velocity isn't everything. Or if you don't, you'll see that later on. 257. 260. 256. 267. 262. 263, 265, 249, 252, 257, 261, 257, 260, 260 again, 264. That's all 15 heavies. Worker heavies shot a high of 267, low of 249, average of 259, with a standard deviation of 4.8. That's a drop of 36 feet per second on average compared to the lighter darts. But how do they compare in an accuracy test? Well, I think it's time to find out. I'll be firing from 30 meters or 98 feet away, aiming at a 1 meter diameter target. Because I know the size of the target for scale, I can then figure out the shot grouping at the end. We'll do regular 1 gram workers first. Hit. 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 I love how the nice large side window lets me know there's only 1 shot left in the mag. And hit. That's 15 shots with the 1 gram worker bamboos. Now let's switch to the worker heavies. Hit. 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 Bit higher. Hit. 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 Hit.
Hit. Hit. Hit. Hit. Hit. Hit. Hit. And one more left. Hit. Now, just anecdotally, before I get back home on the computer and compare the results, just by eye, I couldn't really see a difference between the regular and the heavy workers with this setup. I do know that this was designed before heavy darts were even a thing. When we get to the range test though, I think you'll find the heavier ones go further.
From a distance of 30 meters, standard 1 gram worker bamboos in red shot an incredible grouping 25 centimeters wide and 25 centimeters tall. Very impressive indeed. Taking a look at green tip worker heavies in blue, they shot an identical width of 25 centimeters, very good, but they had an ever so slightly taller spread of 40 centimeters on the vertical. By eye at the time, I couldn't tell a difference, and honestly, even on my computer at home, I think they both performed so incredibly well that I'd happily use either of these and consider them pretty much equal. If I repeated the test, it could very well flip the other way, so that is why I call these pretty much equal. They're just that damn close. Overlaying in green the Caliburn test from 2019, which used dart zone bamboos, you can see a clear improvement in 3.5 years. In that video, it shot a spread 35 centimeters wide and 50 centimeters tall. Although I was shooting at a garbage can back then, I went and measured that garbage can the other week just so that I could translate it to this target. The width of the spread has tightened by 10 centimeters since then, and the height has halved in comparison. Good to see we're improving as time goes on. Now though, I think it's time for a maximum range test. I'm going to head over to this fence and fire back down the road, and then once I go and find the darts, I'll aim my laser rangefinder at the fence to get the distance travelled.
Got 5 of each dart in here staggered, so that if I accidentally change my point of aim, it shouldn't affect the results. I'm going to aim for that branch that's coming out from the tree, which is about a 45-degree angle. There we go. Let's go find them. Okay guys, so these have grouped up nice and tight together. We've got all 5 of the worker 1 grams first, and then we have all 5 of the worker heavyweights. All of them made it past the lightweights. I'll just stand in the middle of this one. The 1 grammers made an average of 64 meters, and the heavyweights made it an average of 69 meters, with the furthest one being this one here at 72 meters.
After completing the chrono test, accuracy test, and now the range test, here's a quick recap. Firstly, 15% heavier worker bamboos shot an average velocity of 259, about 12% lower than standard worker bamboos, which shot 295. For accuracy, there wasn't a whole lot of difference between the two. The heavier darts in this test had a slightly larger vertical spread, but not enough to say definitively that one is better than the other. What was obvious though was the improvement in accuracy since my Caliburn video of 2019. The spread size has halved since then. And when it came to maximum range, that's when the new heavier darts pulled ahead. Every single worker heavy outranged their standard counterpart, despite reading 36 feet per second lower on the velocity test. When you think about that for a while, you realize that most Nerf games currently use a velocity limit rather than an energy limit. So at a 300 feet per second capped game, if you decided to use green tip worker heavies dialed up to 300 feet per second, they'll actually go even further than they did in this test. That's just some food for thought. I think maybe people have to chrono with 1 gram darts, and then let people use other darts if they want. With high FPS Nerf games, competitive Nerf events, and players in countries like Australia or Singapore, where other combat sports like airsoft are actually completely illegal and banned, people will be constantly pushing the limits of what Nerf is capable of. After seeing the improvements made since my 2019 video, I personally am looking forward to having to remake this one for a third time in the future, as this one too becomes out of date. If you've liked what you saw, check out all of the links down below. Also, if you're looking for a Nerf group near you, feel free to use the comment section of this video to try and find one. Myself and other people in the comment section should be able to point you in the right direction. That's all I have for you today. Give the video a thumbs up or a thumbs down to let me know what you thought of it. Here's 2 other ones that you might enjoy. And as always, thank you very much for watching. See ya.